Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. Okay, today this is a bit of a Wednesday special. I'm going to turn this into almost like a three-part mini-series, yeah, in a way, or two-part mini-series or something like that. And today I want to talk about the extra retrogrades that are coming up with the planets. And there's quite a lot of action kind of going on and stuff like that. So it's going to take some explaining. These are coming up in the next few weeks and months and stuff like that. And it's just better to, as you know, I like to kind of get in a bit earlier with these things. So then when the events transpire, you can look back at the video and then you can see what was predicted. Okay, so before we do that, please don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification button so you know when my videos are up. And I want to thank everyone as well, all the new subscribers as well. Thank you. It really helps support my channel and help it to grow and all of that stuff. So I really appreciate it. Also as well, in some extra news, I have just finished off my chapter on Saturn in my new astrology book. Many of you will know that I'm writing my first astrology book and I'm putting all the juice and details in there. You're going to learn all the ins and outs of the planets, how they work, how they manifest in people's charts and stuff like that. And I've got 3 chapters left. My next chapter is on Ceres and Chiron, how they work. The other chapter after that will be the outer planets. So we're talking about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then the final chapter is going to be on Rahu and Ketu and how they influence everyone and everything on Earth and their particular quirks. So, sorry, I think it will be a few more weeks until that work is complete, but it is nearly there. Yeah, so not long to wait. And this is a particular good time as well, because when Saturn's retrograde is very good to review and revise and reassess all big projects that we might be working on. And he goes direct again in November. So hopefully I should be done by all that time, have it workshopped, get out to you guys. You give me feedback, I adjust and I change, and then I begin on the journey of publishing the book, maybe traditional publishing or a hybrid blend, something like that. We'll have to see. Anyway, that aside, I just wanted to give you that little update. So excuse me, let me have a little slurp. Okay. Big things are coming up, folks. Now, as you know already, I have already spoken about how the narrative will change. Yeah, do you remember I said the narrative will change? I also said when Saturn moved into sidereal Aquarius on the 17th of January 2023, how accountability and all of that stuff will start to come. And I said, even for Duck Larange, also known as Trump, look what has transpired since then. And guess what, folks? Even more is on the way. So the next major retrograde to come up will be Venus. Yeah, Venus. Now Venus goes retrograde every 2 years, pretty much every 2 years. So you can imagine it's not that often. Sorry, forgive lingering cough. I didn't take my my what's it called, anti hay fever stuff, and I've just been outside, just been back, trees in full bloom, everything like that, tree sex everywhere. Anyway, what can I do? So I'll take that afterwards. But anyway, the point is this: at the moment we have, who is retrograde right now? We have Saturn retrograde. In fact, let's go to let's just go back to my main screen, which is looking at today. Yes, so we have Pluto and Saturn retrograde. Yeah, not particularly shocking, particularly with Pluto, because Pluto of course is the slowest moving planet, so all of us in our orbit, or all the other planets, overtake Pluto. But Saturn is retrograde, and he's retrograde until November. Now, what is Saturn? Of course, deals with karmas, duties, responsibilities of all kinds, accountability. Yeah, as we know. When he's retrograde, he becomes more powerful. Or in Vedic astrology, they consider the planets to be more powerful because when they're retrograde, they are closer to the Earth, so their influence can be even stronger. But you can imagine with Saturn being the planet of accountability, karmas, and all of this stuff, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That if he's retrograde and we're going into that review, revise, reassess phase, that his powers of revision and assessment increase. Look how so many are sweating now in the media, particularly in the more on the right-wing media, in regards to Duck L'Orange, yeah, Trump. Remember what I said? I said, this guy cannot keep his mouth shut. Yeah, the reason why he can't keep his mouth shut is because in his chart, he's got planet Mercury, the planet of communication, in his own sign of Gemini. Yeah, I think in the Western chart, they would have his Mercury in the sign of Cancer, but it's not, it's in Gemini. Gemini is all about what? Communication, social media, all kinds of communications, writing, papers, emails, yeah, all of that stuff. All forms of communication. When a person has their planet in Gemini, they are very, very chatty. To the extent that sometimes they can't shut up, even when it's in their own interest. Look at Duck L'Orange. You see how effective this stuff is? The guy cannot keep quiet, even if his life and liberty depended on it. It's just extraordinary, isn't it? And then you see these douchebags, in the right-wing media trying to twist his words and trying to say, well, that's not really what he meant. Well, Trump lies all the time, so we can't really trust what he said. The guy is on tape. You can hear the shuffling and the ruffling of the papers, which he even admits to himself, talking about this, that, and the other, and all of this stuff. Yeah? Talking about the plans and all that stuff that America had to invade Iran. One thing that we should be talking about, which is not being discussed, okay, there's Trump doing one thing, which of course is absolutely abominable, and he shouldn't be sharing state secrets with anyone. But also, it also shows, wow, okay, America has had plans to invade Iran, and it's like, what's that all about? I think that will need to be kind of looked at in more detail, in future retrogrades as they come up. But one can think of the tremendous damage, yeah? Think of the tremendous damage that has been done to the USA's reputation, yeah? By having this stuff revealed. Do I want America to invade Iran? No. Is that a good idea? No. Don't we have enough war and conflict as it is in the world? But nonetheless, Duck L'Orange has revealed those state secrets and security to people that had no business hearing that stuff. And of course, that if you're a country and you've got espionage and you've got because look, listen, every single country, every single government in the world has spies and espionage, yeah? If that wasn't the case, then the sign of Scorpio would not exist, yeah? Because that is a lot of what Scorpio deals with, secrets, espionage. Remember Trump's moon, as I've always been banging about for years now. He has a debilitated moon in Scorpio conjunct K2, the south node of the moon. K2 is otherworldly, deals with the Mokshakaka, but K2 also deals with deep research, deep holes, deep into things. K2 is very interested in what is hidden underneath. The moon deals with the mind overall. Trump's moon is eclipsed, yeah? by K2 in the sign of Scorpio. It's technically debilitated. Why? Because what can happen is the person's emotions and their mind can become too fixated sometimes on the invisible or secrets. Very often they can sometimes believe in conspiracy theories. However, these people get very, very interested in the deepest truths and secrets of what is going on. And in this case, Dr. Larange's moon, by him holding on to those state secrets and not wanting to give them back. You see, look, if his moon was in a different sign, he would have given them back, and this wouldn't even have been a story. But because of his fixation, because here the moon is becoming very, very intense, very, very scorpionic, and Scorpio always wants to get to the bottom of things in order to find out where the true power lies. So here, this is why we see Dr. Larange has not been able to let go of those papers. His Mercury is in Gemini. Gemini is the most curious sign, everyone. The most curious sign. So here, when you combine that, if the moon is the mind and Mercury deals with the mechanism of the mind, when Mercury is in the sign of Gemini or with Uranus or something like that, it just speeds up even more. Look, people say he doesn't like to read. We know he does like to read. It's just that he doesn't read standard kind of stuff. He loves to read state secrets. Yeah. I was having, in my mind, I was just chuckling to myself today. Thinking like, my goodness, if you think of all the love affairs and all that stuff that people have had with Dr. Larange, not that I would necessarily, that is something that I would encourage. But something that did go through my mind perversely, and I have no idea why, and I just thought, you know what? A night with Dr. Larange will probably be worth it for the pillow talk. You know why? Because the pillows will probably be stuffed with state secrets, classified papers, and all sorts of tidbits would be lying everywhere. Can you imagine the post-conversation with the cigarette where he casually exchanges every single secret in the archive? I've got K2 in the 8th house, yeah? So as you know, I'm always, what am I always divulging? I'm constantly divulging what the secrets of the planets, the stars, their movements, and what it potentially means for humanity. Anyone with so much as one planet in either the 8th house, which is relative to Scorpio, or in the 8th sign, which is Scorpio, will always be very curious about the nature of power and how it works. Of course, does this excuse Dr. Larange? Of course not. That guy deserves to be absolutely banged up behind bars, as we all know. He has pretty much signed his own epitaph with this. We'll have to see what Judge Cannon could do, if anything at all, to try and extricate her patron from the almighty pickle he has got himself in. And this retrograde Venus as well can allude to that. But just to tie it up together, now we can see what this stuff means, what the nakshatras mean, what the signs mean, and when people have planets in those places. Obviously in the West, they're 24 degrees ahead of the true placements. But with what I've explained, and when I say Trump's moon is debilitated in the sign of Scorpio conjunct K2, is it any wonder that in the sign of espionage, Scorpio is the sign of espionage, secrets, power. Is it any wonder that he's so interested in this stuff and is literally prepared, to take all of this stuff and is just lying about it nakedly now to try and avoid, a prison sentence, which is going to be almost impossible. But now we can see such was his insatiable thirst to get hold of these secrets and stuff. He wasn't prepared to let them go when he was politely asked to give them back. Now we can understand why. But in doing so, much in many ways has also been revealed that the public wouldn't necessarily have known. And of course, this is deeply embarrassing for America because if you are an ally of America, first of all, the thing will be like, well, don't you guys have a librarian to kind of like look after this stuff? Because look, it doesn't excuse him. As we know, Trump is the most egregious. They were very, very patient with him, as Bill Barr said, and he just basically flicked them the middle finger. But we also know other politicians have also had their hands on classified documents that they shouldn't necessarily have had. Who would have thought Mike Pence would have had a few dangling around? I wasn't too surprised actually with Biden, because technically he's a triple Scorpio as well. His ascendant is Scorpio and he's got Sun and Venus there. It's just part of the nature. Scorpio shouldn't be, they often demonized as a sign, and they shouldn't be, because it's about getting to the bottom of things. Any person who's got planets or their ascendant in Scorpio, or in the or planets in the 8th house, like I said, they're going to be very curious about this stuff. The important thing is how they act in regards to what they find. Pence and Biden gave their stuff back immediately, yeah, and said, look, just search place is fine, boo-boo, whatever. With Duck Larange, it's different, yeah. He's got the boxes, what? Stacked to the ceiling in bathrooms and in toilets, which again is showing that debilitation of the moon, yeah. Even with all of that, he didn't think to himself, oh my God, I could be in a lot of trouble for this. But anyway, there's that. Now let's get on to the topic of Venus going retrograde. Now she goes retrograde technically on the 23rd of July and will stay retrograde until the 4th of September. So that's quite a long time. So if we think July, August, September, let's just see here. What's that? A month and a half or whatever. But anyway, she's going to be retrograde for a while. Now, what does Venus represent? Venus represents money, finances, luxuries, asset classes of all kinds, food, yeah, via her feminine expression via Taurus. Taurus deals with food, assets, money, education, all of that stuff, liquidity. Venus also does have a bit of an effect on the economy in terms of she can give indications about the economy and stuff like that. And of course, Venus represents women of all kinds, from girlhood to maturity. So does the moon, but moon deals with matriarchs in particular, tends to deal more with women that have become mothers, or they have a motherly role, even if they don't have their own children, they're looking after people or whatever. But the point is, Venus is women. So in this context, particularly with what's going on with Duck Larange, this retrograde Venus is very pertinent in regards to who? Judge Aileen Cannon. Because the masculine expression of Venus is Libra. And Libra deals with business, discourse, contracts of all kinds, relationships, marriage, etc. But also what? The law. The law. Venus is going to go retrograde at 4 degrees 24 minutes of Magha Nakshatra. Isn't that interesting? Magha Nakshatra. Magha. That's how you say it, but it's Magha. 4 degrees 24 minutes, which is exactly conjunct the star Regulus, which is the heart of the lion. So star Regulus deals with leaders and kings and queens and CEOs, people who hold positions of high authority in general. Leaders and stuff like that. Let's also not forget that Duck Larange has his ascendant at 5 degrees of sidereal Leo, along with his Mars, yeah? Exactly conjunct this star. So Venus, it goes down straight on to Regulus and goes retrograde at that point. Isn't that interesting? Now, when a planet goes retrograde, one has to review, revise, reassess, etc., stuff like that. Venus is women. Libra, Venus ruling Libra, as I said, also deals with what? The law. So this could deal with what? A prominent female connected with the law who may have to review, revise, reassess. Now, how is this going to pan out? We have to see, because of course there's the positive and the negative polarity here. On the negative side, this could indicate maybe Aileen Cannon may meddle and interfere, which she's already shown that she's done so in the past. Yeah, she might try and meddle, she might try and interfere in her attempts to review, revise, reassess what? The situation with a leader, Duc Larange, yeah, former president, yeah, CEO, influential person, who also has his ascendant and his Mars conjunct the same star that I was talking about. Isn't it interesting, yeah? Venus coming down also as well. I think this is will also be the case when Venus and Mars are together in the, let's see what's going on here. This is 4th of September. So let me just see. Let's go back. I'm just going to click back to July 23rd. Let me just, because currently I'm on the 4th of September. July 23rd. Oops, I've gone too far. Let's do weekly. Let's get that July 23rd date going. 27th daily. Let's come back. All right. Yeah. So Venus and Mars are in the same sign of Leo. Yeah. So this could actually give a little bit of a boost to Duc Larange to have Mars, which is in his first house, natally in his chart, going through his first house, might give him a boost or at least make him want to fight a bit more. But this reversal, as it were, of Venus is very, very interesting. So this is how I think it could go one of two ways. It could be that such is the evidence that Judge Aileen Cannon has to review and revise and reassess her beliefs around her patron, yeah, her leader, Duc Larange. She may have to change her views because this evidence is pretty naked and incriminating, yeah? Anyone with any shred of sense understands the difficulty and the culpability that Duc Larange is in. So there's that. But in the shadow, this may also illustrate where she may try and reassess, revise, and what? Delay, retrograde in a way, delay the whole case. If she does so, she's probably going to have to recuse herself because it would be so egregious to do such a thing that she may even be impeached. Yeah, she could even be impeached for doing such a thing. And when I look at that with that Venus representing a significant woman, you know, conjunct the star Regulus, someone connected potentially with the law, this can obviously, in terms of the news, this obviously it's all women, but in regards to Judge Aileen Cannon, it's kind of pertinent, isn't it? So it's going to go either of those two ways. Either she's going to have to toe the line, learn the law, yeah, and get a bit more, add a bit more onto her 14 days of work experience that she's effectively, I mean, how this is even possible. How this is even possible that someone with so little legal professional experience in the terms of the courts is able to be on a case of such historical significance is just absolutely astonishing. But such are the times. So she's either going to toe the line or she's going to do something ridiculous that's so outrageous she kind of gets taken off the case or has to recuse herself or what have you. It could go either way. Of course, I am hoping that she will see sense, and will understand and try and put her country first. Yeah, because this has been an incredible compromise, of course, of the United States and stuff like that. So what else did I put in my notes? Oh, also as well, yes, Venus goes retrograde on July 23rd, but Neptune, planet of secrets. Yeah, and you remember I said that the transit of Neptune in Pisces is going to reveal a lot of things. I said a lot of spells that were cast while it was in Aquarius would start to lift. And many things will be revealed. And I said the narrative will change. Yeah, we're seeing already in the world how much various different narratives are changing. Neptune is going to go retrograde on the 1st of July. Yeah, so that means like there's going to be what? A review, revise, and reassessment around what? Dreams, fantasies, illusions, and delusions, spirituality, stuff like that. We could have more stories coming out as well about the sea. I find it very interesting. Oh, this is just phlegm now, not even a cough. sorry folks, not spoken today. Whatever, such is life. Have you noticed it's gone quite quiet about that giant seaweed that was apparently floating towards America? We've hardly heard anything about it. However, this could come back in the news in July, yeah, the summer months, when the heat is really going and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that we need to look at as well is storms, yeah, storms and, you know, tropical depressions, cyclones and all that kind of stuff, because Neptune is the god of the sea, but he deals with, because the oceans are getting warmer, it means the atmosphere can hold more water than it could. And this is why this can deal with flooding and all of this kind of stuff. So there could be some weather events as well in the news around this. I mean, look, that's not even that long from now. Today's the 28th of June, 2023. And at the time, I'm looking at the time, it's 13 minutes past 4 p.m. in the afternoon, UK time here. So there could be stories in the news in regards to moisture, rain, and like tornadoes, flooding, that kind of thing, and storm surges and the like, or the seaweed story could come back, all that stuff. But in general, there will be more disclosure about things. The narrative will evolve and change. There might even be more stuff as well on the aliens in the sea and all of this kind of stuff and everything like that. So, you know, lots and lots and lots of things are going to transpire. But really, also as well, let's also keep an eye out for things connected with the economy and stuff like that. Because after all, Venus is a planet of business, Saturn is a planet of business, and Mercury is a planet of business. So there's that kind of thing. What else do I want to discuss? I think I've covered those main things. I think that's enough for this introductory kind of video. We also as well, don't forget, we're going to be having the eclipses happening in the fall. Turn my sheet over. So let me give you a little heads up about what we're going to talk about next. So really this one was about the situation with Dr. Larange and Aileen Cannon and seeing how that plays out and changing narratives and stuff like that. Now, in the next video, there's going to be even more planets going retrograde. So on the 23rd of August, 2023, we're going to have Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Saturn will still be retrograde, Neptune, of course, will be retrograde, and Pluto will still be retrograde as well at that time. So we're going to have 5 planets retrograde. This is where we're really going to start seeing some big shifts and stuff like that coming up. And my video next Wednesday is going to focus more on the details of that, because that really is quite a lot to actually unpack. But I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. Nice little short one. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But I'll leave it there for now. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. All right, until the next time, you see me on Hogarth on Saturday. Bye for now. Cheers.